On July 27, 2010, Pakistan was hit with one of the worst monsoon floods in recent history. Overflowing rivers washed away homes and triggered dangerous landslides throughout the northwest of the country. Nearly 20 million people were impacted by the devastation. The effect will be felt for years to come and has reduced the development of the country, forcing it decades back in terms of advancement and progress for its people. The immediate repercussions have resulted in the people of Pakistan being in one of the worst conditions ever witnessed.
हमारे इतना सामान डूब गया पानी में. अभी हम इधर रहते हैं, हम इधर क्या करेंगे? ना इधर नमाज का जगह है, ना साफ पानी है, ना हमको कुछ सही तरीके से मिलते हैं. हम क्या करेंगे? इधर किधर ही बस बैठे, गर्मी में बैठे, शाम को भी उधर होते, दिन को भी उधर होते.
The catastrophe resulted in the deaths of 1,700 vulnerable women and children, and millions more have been forced into abandoning their homes and livelihoods with little prospect of escaping homelessness. The floods and the repercussions have steadily crept from one side of the country to the other, devastating much of the entire country. The disaster has destroyed crops mainly in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab and Sindh provinces, causing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of agricultural loss to the farmers, the aftermath of which will be felt in future generations.
सारा ता कार तबाह बर्बाद हो गया, सामान सारा तबाह हो गया. बिल्कुल जड़ा था दो एक कपड़े ने जोड़े चाया, बच्चा ना पता नहीं बच्चे के थे नसी के थे, कोई पता नहीं. अपनी मेहनत मजदूरी थे, अपना कार बढ़ाया, अपने सामान फ्रिज हर चीज, दरवाजे टूट फूट सब कुछ हो गया.
As the streets became rivers and the water destroyed everything in its path, victims had no choice but to pick up their children and run for their lives. Most returned to find everything they had owned washed away by the waters. With nothing tangible and nowhere else to go, their only option left was to sit and wait for help. North American Muslim Foundation, NAMF, was one of the first international NGOs to distribute relief goods among the flood victims. In just the month of August, the organization distributed food to over 1,000 vulnerable families, including women and children in Nowshera, Peshawar, Swat and Rahim Yar Khan. Since the onset of the disaster, North American Muslim Foundation has given food, water and medical aid to over 50,000 people in Nowshera, Peshawar, Akora Khattak, Swat Valley, South Punjab and Sindh. Additionally, NAMF assembled a team of specialized doctors from Canada to go to Pakistan and provide life-saving health care.
I'm seeing a lot of skin infections. I'm seeing a lot of people with stomach problems, These are the two big things that we are seeing. A lot of people with fever, a lot of people with myalgias.
So it's most probably because of the bad water, because of the flood water that has polluted it over here, right? So you're looking at a lot of, waterborne diseases.
That's right. Looking at waterborne diseases, and we're also now looking at low immunity because I think the nutrition is not as good as it should be.
To provide the children with educational needs, NAMF distributed hundreds of books and notebooks to flood-affected students in Pakistan. The relief aid, which included food, tents, baby supplies and medicine, were generously donated by Canadians and distributed to victims by dedicated staff of NAMF in Pakistan.
A lot of patients are complaining of weakness, eye infections, skin irritations, gastrointestinal, stomach upset. There's just a variety of things, but
So most of it, you think that it's also related to waterborne diseases.
Oh, definitely.
As a result of this, good water being become polluted, and as a result of these things, they are suffering from these situations.
oh, definitely. A lot of the conjunctivitis and a lot of the skin irritation that we're seeing have a lot to do with the flood.
Okay.
As a result of the flooding, the Pakistan water supply was contaminated, creating widespread diseases. North American Muslim Foundation has installed filtration plants in South Punjab to ensure the victims have much needed access to clean water.
आज तहसील कोटद्दू में नॉर्थ अमेरिकन मुस्लिम फाउंडेशन की कोशिश से ये प्लांट जो लगाया है, ये आज इसका इफ्तिताह था। पूरी कम्युनिटी जो मदरसे के अलावा जो हमारी मदरसे के शर्की जानिब कम्युनिटी है या मगरबी जानिब कम्युनिटी है, बहुत बड़ा इलाका है, ये इस प्लांट से मुस्तफ़ीद होंगे इंशाअल्लाह। और ये प्लांट इस टाइम 100% वर्किंग हालत में है और अच्छी पोजीशन में बनाया गया है।
This year, NAMF also organized a Qurbani program for the entire flood-affected provinces of Pakistan. Our dedicated field staff distributed Qurbani meat amongst thousands of vulnerable families in Pakistan. This served as a luxury for many of these families who usually don't have access to these provisions.
यहाँ उन लोगों का शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं जिन लोगों ने हमारे लिए 3-4 साल से कुर्बानी का एहतमाम किया है। यहाँ बकरे का गोश्त तो साल भर देखना भी नसीब नहीं होता। मोटा गोश्त जो है वो भी मिलने को मुश्किल है क्योंकि महंगाई का तूफान है। तो आज जिन लोगों ने हमारे लिए ये कुर्बानी का एहतमाम किया है उनका हम लोग शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं कि यहाँ इन गरीब इलाके में गरीब लोगों में ये गोश्त तकसीम किया।
It seemed as though every time we arrived somewhere to deliver aid to the most vulnerable, thousands more desperate people looked on with pleading expressions. Almost 3 months after the floods began, there are still millions of people who have not received sufficient basic help and are losing all hope. The destruction of agricultural land has resulted in food shortages, which has left thousands of children starving. The elderly and the young are suffering from preventable diseases due to malnourishment, which leaves their emaciated bodies unable to fight the cold weather and susceptible to infections which are existent due to the poor conditions following the floods.
So again, a lot of more chronic problems that people have had. We are seeing some conjunctivitis, which is probably viral, which is more associated with the fact that they're living in close quarters, don't have clean water, don't have the facilities of having hygiene.
Proper washroom facilities.
washroom
Because I just
facilities.
examined very basic, it's a pothole basically
Yes.
they are using.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't have any of those
And
facilities.
and there's not proper drinking water facilities either, because
Absolutely.
all I saw is a hand pump
Yeah.
over there that I think they are also using it for
Drinking.
drinkable, which obviously they cannot do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you are observing in your diagnosis
Yes,
over
so
here
infectious diseases.
water-related diseases over
Absolutely.
here.
The catastrophe continues. The effects of winter are harsh as many millions of those afflicted are still living in tents. This means that the majority, who happen to be women, children and elderly people, have to attempt to survive under sub-zero temperatures with no escape from the unforgiving conditions. A large number of innocent children could lose their lives if not provided with blankets, food and basic health care immediately. It is a race against time. Aid was distributed when the floods arrived, but a lot more is needed to deal with the enduring consequences, especially as winter sets in. For those hundreds of thousands of children living in terrible conditions, we need your support. With your help, we can save many innocent lives.
Like what grade are you in? Are you in the university?
Right now, yeah, I'm just finishing my last year in university
Mashallah.
right now.
And you left, your university education to come out over here. That shows some charisma, some insight over here. What sort of message you want to give it to the young people?
To the young people back home?
Exactly, that what you are seeing and what your observation is.
What I want to say to the young people back home is that just because it's such a big disaster, don't think that you can't do anything. Everybody, every little piece counts, and I know you've heard it so many times, but I'm here and I feel like I'm making a difference, and you can't fix everything in one go, but if you try your hardest, you can help fix some of the problems. And I want all the young people out there to know that, don't give up, don't think that what you do won't make a difference, because it actually will. It really, really will.
First and foremost, I would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have given me this opportunity, and then Jim Koreajanis to have started this initiative, and for you to bring us out here. When I first came here, 20 million IDPs, I really didn't think I would make a difference. But we've been to 4 camps, and each camp had about 4,000 people. So when you do the math, out of the 20 million, 4,000 in every, so that would be what, about 16,000 people that we have screened, and we have seen about 500 each day. So we've treated about 200, we have treated about 2,000 people in all. And however small, it has been a very gratifying experience. And I thought that there would not be enough, that there would be enough physicians here, but you know what? No, there is a need of people to come out here to help with their money, with their effort, everything. It has been a great experience for me, a life learning experience.
Your donations will help in easing the pain and miseries of millions of women and children that have been suffering for the past 3 months and will continue to face hardship throughout the coming months. Act now. Save lives.